Emily, and the curriculum that I chose is Language for Learning by Siegfried Engelmann and Jean Osborne. So this curriculum is a language-based curriculum. It's teaching phrases and pronunciations. This is great for children 4 to 6, so about pre-K to kindergarten. It's great for kids who are learning English. It's good for primary school children who are in special ed, and also kids who are in speech or language classes. So this curriculum is broken up into 4 books, and each book has about 50 lessons in it. Each lesson takes about 25 to 30 minutes, depending on lessons and ability. So this is like book A. There's book B, C, and D. So you go through this book, and there's pictures, and you point to the pictures, and the students describe what the pictures are. So it's also a scripted curriculum. So, for example, this says, when I touch something, you tell me about it. And so you touch the first picture, and this is a banana. And that's what the child tells you, is that it's a banana. And then you have them say the whole thing. So they say, this is a banana. So it's learning how to say different phrases, and learning how to use words that they've learned in sentences. I saw this curriculum being used in my residency placement. I spent a week in a ESL classroom, and they used this curriculum. And I remember one of the lessons that they did, the teacher said, I'm touching my knees, and the students repeated back, I'm touching my knees, and they had their hands on their knees, and she said, where are you touching? And they said, my knees, and then they repeated again, I am touching my knees. So that's kind of an example of what it uses. It starts off easy and then becomes more complex as the curriculum goes through the lessons. So if I pull out the last book, we can look, and one of the things, let's talk about the farm, and then it says, what do we get from cows? And then you can ask students what do we get from cows, and they some ideas are milk, cream, butter, meat, and so it goes on asking, what do we get from sheep? Why does a farm have a barn? So it goes from easy to more complex depending on the lessons. The way that you would use this in a classroom is it begins with a pretest, and so the pretest shows the children where they need to start. Not every student will start off on lesson 1. So some students may need to start on lesson 1 and some might not. So that pretest helps you see where they need to begin. And so after the pretest, if you're in a big classroom setting, you would then group the students. And it suggests grouping by ability. That way, what lessons you need to spend a little more time on. With some students you can, and students who don't need extra time, you don't have to spend extra time with them. And that helps for the students that don't need to start on lesson 1. You can work with them starting where they need to be. In my research on this, I saw a school or a kindergarten that everyone used Language for Learning, and they were comparing it to a kindergarten that didn't use it, and they found that their students had far higher scoring language abilities of the students who did use it versus the students who did not use it. One thing I struggled to find is the validity and reliability of it. The website that published this, I forget the name, they were talking and they said that they don't always test full curriculums. They might do a couple of sample lessons with a classroom, but they typically don't full on test the curriculum before it's published. So that's one thing I would like to see better from the curriculum, is seeing how well it does. I found teachers that said that they loved the curriculum and that it was great, and each teacher kind of has their own things that they would change about it, but I think that having some like numbers and seeing it mapped out of how students did using the curriculum, I think that would be beneficial, or be beneficial for me if I was choosing if I wanted to do this curriculum. But overall, I think it's a really good curriculum. I think it's great for students who need that extra language help, and I saw it used with students whose second language was English, and I saw a big change in the kids that were in our classroom who were being pulled out for ESL, and their phrasing was better. They could put together sentences a lot better. So yeah, I really like this curriculum, and I think if you have students that are struggling with speech and language, that this would be an awesome curriculum to use with them.